Hey, how's it going, guys? Ancient Ruin here, back with another Diablo 4 build video, and today I'll be going over my go-to speed farming build, and this is all with Blood Surge. Now, I did already make a Blood Surge build video, but that is more for like pit pushing and pit focused, where this is for farming everything non-pit, as farming pit is mainly just using a pit build. I'm sure there's some ways you'd probably just go like Blood Wave and then maybe reduce some damage and go a little bit lower, but still in the high 100s to be pushing that, where Blood Surge would not be doing them. There is also Blight, which apparently is the #1 speed farming build. I don't know how it does with the bosses, but this does good with bossing and mobbing. And so I like this a lot. I haven't touched Blight, so I don't know. I don't know when I will touch Blight. Maybe soon, maybe not. I need to get a good E-Bun Piercer. But for right now, this is my go-to speed farming build. Now, what makes Blood Surge so good is that it does an area of effect, as well as being good single target, which not everything has. So this is just there, and what makes this different than my regular Blood Surge build is we give up a lot of damage for movement speed or quality of life, which makes it easier because non-pit enemies have a lot less health. You may not instantly kill something, but you will still kill it really fast and effective compared to other stuff, as well as just getting place to place faster with a couple flexibility options. If you find this video helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 content, and let's get on to it. Alright, so just like regular Blood Surge, their main thing is going to be a Cura's Embrace. That is like a must-have. I have a 3-star here, which is really nice, but this is just insanely good because of the Blood Surge drains extra from elites. This is what makes it so good for single target instead of just mobbing, is these extra charges. So this is the main thing you're going to do, and then other stuff is for like movement speed or increasing damage. So first off, we'll go over the helmet, which is the Air Perdition. Has core skills, lucky hit chance, crit chance, and movement speed, so it's all just really good. As any build, you want to try and hit 100% crit chance if you can, as well, especially on this build, trying to hit that 200% movement speed, so this does that very well. Also, just having the 60% damage mult is absolutely huge. And then we have the Shroud of False Death, as this will give max life as well as all stats, and also just 8 point into every passive, which when ends up mathematically being really good, as well as just those quality of life passives being really nice. Then back at Cura's Embrace, the main thing you're going to want to look out for is the Blood Surge drains. You are going to want to make sure that is GA, and then focus on masterworking onto that. The other stuff is all really good. Max Life's really good. Blood Surge, Tides of Blood, any of those with GA is really nice. The bottom part doesn't really matter, except that it does consume corpses, which you can use with other stuff on this build to make that beneficial. It's used on regular Blood Surge with consuming corpses, but this is extra good, and I will go on that later. And then you're going to want to go in Indira's Memory. This is for the stats, and the bottom part does not matter at all. So we have the max life, Tides of Blood being the big thing. Get GA in those if possible. Because you have Tides of Blood here and potentially on the amulet, it's probably less important than max life, so I'd probably try and get that. I have not had good luck, so I'm stuck with this Tides of Blood. Still not bad, but I would focus on trying to masterwork max life onto here, but masterworking Tides of Blood is not bad at all either. Where damage reduction while injured is and overpowered damage does not matter, as it's just additive damage. And then we have boots here. This is going to be where we keep up some extra armor. I got a GA into armor, which is really nice. I don't know if it's needed. At most, you may just masterwork it if you don't have that. Otherwise, you go intelligence or max life. Now, on here, I like to have the max evade charges, but you can also go cooldown or movement speed. I haven't messed with the cooldown one. It's potentially good in small enclosed places that are not the Undercity, Otherwise, I will use the 3 charge, mainly because it's good for just going through towns, but the movement speed still might be good. I'm not exactly sure. Also, we are doing mainly lower tier content, so having armor to worry about may not be as important to have here. So just keep that in mind as well. Could get away without this armor specifically. And then on here we have the tempering with movement speed, really important, and then Blood Surge Nova Size. Blood Surge Nova Size just means it hits more enemies. And then we have imprinted here, we have the Sever Mobility skill, costs no essence, but has a cooldown up to 3.5 seconds. I have it at 5 seconds right now. This is really good movement speed. You can use this or the Metamorphosis, which is your dashes gain increased duration, but you now dash farther, kind of acting like Sever or Teleport, which we use here, but I'll go over that in a bit. So one of those two will work. I like Sever. I do find Sever to be better in the Undercity because you have a lower duration on everything, so Sever ends up being a lot better, but Metamorphosis is not bad, and I could experiment it more out of Undercity, but I don't know how much better it would be. There could be an argument for attack cooldown on the Metamorphosis, but I'm not exactly sure. And then with the amulet, you're going to look for stuff that's beneficial. Mainly collects blood and any multiplier like Amplify. Tides of Blood also works. I just found this 2GA intelligence amplifies, I'm using it, and then intelligence is also really good. There are some other stuff that you could go for, but I use this. They're going to want an ultimate cooldown reduction to help with your cooldown on your Soul Rift, which is very important. And then I have Blood Surge Nova Size here, but you could also go Blood Attack Speed. I don't know which one's better. I kind of want to mess with Blood Surge Nova Size on this farming setup, but if you are doing a speed farming and just a pit pushing setup, and you just want to use one amulet, which I would suggest, I would do Blood Attack Speed. I just already did Nova Size on here before doing attack speed. I don't know why, but I did. Kind of dumb. So I have that set up there. And then we have for masterworking, I would just balance out skills. I haven't really focused on masterworking this too well, but definitely focus on like Amplify or Collects Blood over Intelligence, but whatever you can get will work. All right, and then for the aspect, we are going to go on Bomber, which is consuming a corpse, has a 53% chance to spawn a Blood Orb. Now, Blood Orb is super important for having fast blood activated. Now, we generally in regular content would still have Blood Orb spawning as well as Decrepify, which I have on here, but a lot of times we kill stuff too fast, so spawning these Blood Orbs is more important as we get Soul Rift up, and having this cycle is better than getting damage, I found, on these two, because of Soul Rift just giving so much stuff, from getting vulnerable to increased damage, debuffs, or crowd control stuff, as well as barrier, and collecting essence just makes it insanely good and a must-have. So that's why we focus on cycling that is instead of just getting damage stuff. We just kill enemies too fast for Decrepify, and we don't have a slot for Decrepify or the cursed aura to go somewhere, as we want this mobility stuff on the boots. So this is why that's so important and why I do that. All right, and then we have on the ring, we have intelligence, max life, attack speed. This is basically the same stuff that I used on my Blood Surge build with pit pushing. A lot of the gear is the same, it's just like some minor changes, so it's very flexible to do, but I thought I'd go over it still. So we got the intelligence, max life, attack speed, whatever you GA. I think all three of them are good. You want to try and get as much attack speed as you can to get that 100% cap. I will have an image thrown up here on the attack speed as there's cap 1 and cap 2. I also go over it more in depth, just a little bit on my main Blood Surge video. But then we also have ultimate cooldown and blood attack speed as we want to get to the overpowered damage on Paranormal Blood Surge, as that is our big damage dealer. And then we have Fast Blood as blood orbs reduce your ultimate cooldown, so we get Soul Rift back, and I already went over that. And then we have Ring of Starless Skies as core skills, lucky hit chance, attack speed, crit chance. Honestly, any of these to get GA is good. Maybe crit chance, whatever you need really. Maybe just core skills. This is just what I rolled, so this is what I use. And then I've got some attack speed and masterworking, also lucky hit chance. I wasn't really too picky on this, but mainly we use this because it has those good stats, as well as the 50% damage increase, and then also reduces resource costs. So this damage and utility is just better than giving it up for something else. And then for the weapon, we are using the mace, which has the overpower damage part, but honestly the least important part. So if you find something different in good GA, then I do that. We got intelligence, max life, lucky hit, chance to restore primary resource, same stuff, and then also blood attack speed, and then chance for blood wave to deal double damage. Now I like to use Cadaverous here for consuming corpses, increase core and ultimate skills, over some other bonuses that do hit higher than 35%, mainly the ones that where you have no minions, you gain increased damage, but you slowly lose essence, which is pretty easy to keep up. But sometimes I do find myself without essence, and on a farming build I like to keep that as minimal as possible. And when I'm overempowering, I'm still killing stuff really fast, so I don't find it much of an issue. If you have worse gear, then that could change, but on this specifically, I did not find that a problem. And you'll mainly want to GA and try and get triple roll on the chance for a blood surge to deal double damage, as double damage is really good. And then on here we have the Bloodbath Relic, where we have intelligence, max life, cooldown reduction, and then we also have blood attack speed and blood surge deal double damage. Again, try and triple crit that blood surge deals double damage, because double damage is really good. So that's really important to go for. You can also get lucky hit chance or a crit chance or whatever will help you. And then we have Bloodbath, which is blood surge Nova Echoes again after a short delay, dealing up to 10% less damage, which is just really good, especially in mobbing. It, even if like you don't have an elite, but just having another Nova there is really good. And then for the runes and such, we have on the Air Perdition, or just any of these three, we have Ignija, where stores offering every 0.3 seconds, cast a non-basic skill to gain stored offering up to 500. And then we do that with the teleport, with your next of 8 being Sorcerer's teleport skill. I use this combo specifically because I use the Sever. So if you're storing that up, you activate Sever, that's a non-basic skill, you get that charge, and then you do that charge, and then Sever might be back off cooldown, and then you'll Sever dash again, and if there's offering, then it will save up again, making it just really good. And during combat, you will sometimes reduce that cooldown with the Decrepify, making it just a really good combo. And then I have intelligence with the Topaz. And then we have on here, we have Camelot, cast a non-channeled core skill, and then invoke Horde Decrepify. This is a good combo because we only really need this when we're in combat and we're channeling that core skill during combat. So this is just really easy to keep up. Now these two can be swapped, any of these three can be put in, it's just how I have it set up right now. And then on the weapons, we just have overpower damage on here because it's the best option here. And then we have the aura active fools and enemies. This is really good, especially since I don't go Piranado nor Corpse Tendrils. This helps bring enemies in to you, which helps for blood surge. We already do have a good radius, but this is just really helpful. You could also do the overpower while dealing damage to enemies affected by hex, but we don't actually use a hex on here because I want force of will, so there is that downside. But pulling enemies in is really good. You do lose a damage mult, but it's fine for the most part. And then we have on here 3 or more growth and decay, which powers, then you'll get the increased primary core stat and then max health and unhindered, which is just increased damage. Max health is more damage for overpower. Then more core stat means more skill damage. And then we have the, while you have an aura active, your ultimate skills count as Eldritch, Growth and Decay, and Psych. This is also another reason why cycling Soul Rift is so good, because we use this with Breath of the Coven for more attack speed and Lucky Hit Chance, making just insane combo. I don't see people use this, but I'm a fan of it, so that's why I use this. So let's go on to here. So we have Breath of the Coven with Witchcraft for that attack speed, and then Lucky Hit Chance when all 3 bonuses are active, which will happen with the combo with the Occult Gem. Then we have Aura Specialization, bigger aura, as well as dealing increased damage to enemies within your aura. And with that aura, we have the Aura Siphoning, where we will be healing for enemies that we deal damage to. Then we have Soul Harvest, gain increased primary core stat. Now, a good trick with this is at the beginning of combat, you will group up enemies and snapshot that damage onto here, and that'll be an easy damage boost. And then we have Force of Will, where we are stacking up overpower damage. This is a huge mult and pretty easy to keep up since we normally only overpower every like 4 or 5 attacks. And that's when our big damage dealer is, so it should kill everything that's there, so we should keep up those stacks. And then we have the cycle to keep up those 3 growth and decay stacks. Otherwise, you would be using Pyranado, but we do not here. Now let's go over the skill tree. So we go Reap here. You only need 2 points here. We go Enhanced Reap for that attack speed, which is very helpful. You could take a point out of Acolyte's Reap. It's not exactly needed, but I like it sometimes with the corpses. But on this build specifically, I would not take it, and I'm going to throw it on Lucky Hit Chance here. And so then we go down here and we get as many points into Blood Surge as possible. And then we go Enhanced Blood Surge, but we mainly go Paranormal Blood Surge as with my normal Blood Surge build. When you're healthy and you activate your Blood Surge Nova, then you gain a stack of Overwhelming Blood. When you have 5 stacks, then your next Blood Surge overpowers, and Overpower is with all the damages, dealing billions of damage, even still dealing a couple billion damage on this type of build. And then we have Light here. We're still going down to this multiplier. Don't need it as much. Maybe with raid bosses sometimes you may need it, or like those Uber bosses, but not always needed. It is noticeable sometimes though, but if you're not going, it's like a couple seconds difference. It's not the biggest, but those seconds add up. And then because we already have points in core skill, we don't have to have a point in Sever, and nothing here really helps that much. Then we go down here and we have Blood Mist. Really, you only need like maybe this, maybe Enhanced Blood Mist, but I have Dreadful Blood Mist if you need to increase that damage a little bit. Blood Mist isn't honestly that needed. You could go the movement speed one, but if you already hit that 200% movement speed cap, then that Ghastly Blood Mist isn't too helpful. So I go the damage one. You could also give this up and get a point in Decompose, but I don't really need the extra movement speed with Reaper's Pursuit, and the damage will be less than getting like Dreadful Blood Mist potentially, so I don't do that here. And then we don't need Corpse Explosion since we already have corpses being consumed from Cura's Embrace. So we just go 1 point in Grim Harvest to get down there, and also get some extra essence gain when consuming corpses, and we get Fueled by Death for increased damage. Then we also get Titan's Fall. While fortified, you'll increase damage to elites. We're always going to be fortified, so this is just really good. And then we have Spiked Armor. I only have 2 points in here. You could go another one. It really just depends on how much armor you have and how much you need. You could also go potions, and again, you probably really don't need max armor while you're at this lower tier content, but better safe than sorry, to be honest. And then you could put some points in Necrotic Fortitude for some barrier downtime with Soul Rift, but I find there's not much downtime in Soul Rift with this setup, so you don't have to worry too much. And then here we are going to Decrepify, because we need to go points into Abhorrent Decrepify, where Lucky Hit Chance. Decrepify has a 15% chance to reduce your active cooldown by 1 second. So that'll just affect Blood Mist, it will affect Sever, and Soul Rift, making it just really, really good. And then we go the bonuses that boost our damage, like Amplify and Death Embrace. And then I had some extra points, so I went points in Death Approach to get more movement speed, to get that 200% capped and movement speed reached, and then Precision Decay to get Lucky Hit Chance, since Lucky Hit Chance is very helpful in this build. And then we'll go down here and we get points in Collects Blood and Tides of Blood. Normally you'd probably get Transfusion for Blood Orbs, but we already have stuff making a lot of Blood Orbs, so we don't need Transfusion. And then you could go points in Drain Vitality for Fortify, but I already have plenty of Fortify I found, so I never really need this. And then normally we go to Corpse Tendrils because it brings enemies in, but it's just slower to use this because we get less movement speed and damage here, and also it's just slower to bring those enemies in to then attack them, where it is just like quickly move over, so that's why we don't go Corpse Tendrils. I also, in my Blood Surge, also use Grasping Veins, and we don't use it on this setup, so it's even less useful. It would still be very good because it can spawn Blood Orbs and slow and stun enemies, but we don't do that here. And then just 3 points in Ray-Proof Pursuit, so we can get more movement speed and more damage. We have 4 stacks here, so that is 24% movement speed and 24% more damage mult. And then we're going down here and we get Soul Rift. We go 5 points for lower cooldown and get those healing potions, but I mainly go for the cooldown. And then we restore Barrier and Essence, as well as gaining up to 75% damage from ult, which is huge. And then we also make enemies vulnerable, which is another 20% damage mult. Then we go Finality, constantly activating our ultimate skill, so this will be up a lot. And then we go Memento Mori, where we have increased sacrifice. And then we have Standalone. You could get rid of this if you don't need the survivability. Could also be really good to point in Inspiring Leader if you need more crit chance, as sometimes you do, but I just keep it in there. And then down here we go Rasmuth Vigor, as we get that overpower damage. The top part doesn't really matter as much, as we already have ways of overpowering. We mainly just go this for the 120% overpower mult. Alright, and then I think the Paragon board's basically the same, but I'll just kind of go over it. We go up and around, we get Dominate, and we get those points to get at least 25. We don't go extra because additive damage isn't worth it, and then we just go extra points into intelligence, and we go back down here for max health. A lot of places, if something has max health, we'll go for it. And then we go up to here, and we will we have the Bloodbath Paragon board, and we'll go up here and around, and we'll get the Essence for the increased damage to enemies that are not healthy, get the 25 dexterity plus extra intelligence, and then we'll go around and get Bloodbath. Bloodbath deal 100% overpower damage. That's just if you do overpower, 100% damage. Then after overpowering, your blood skills deal 25% increased damage for 5 seconds. And then we'll go up around, we'll go to the right first, go here. Then we have the Frailty board, so we will go around and get Corporeal, where we will deal increased damage with physical damage, which Blood Surge is, and we will get at least 40 intelligence and then extra just from extra skill points. Also go down here and get attack speed, which is very helpful. And then we'll go around here and we'll get some extra armor and then some max life. And then we'll go back up here and we go around and we get some damage reduction, which is always nice, and go up and we go to the blood board, and we'll go around and get that. And that is increased damage with blood orbs. So we have those blood orbs spawning from consuming corpses. So this is plenty easy to keep up. And then we go around here and we get this max life. That's why we don't just go here with less points, because the max life is more worth it for this extra points. And we go to the glyph socket, we get sacrificial, gain increased damage when you have no active minions. We got no active minions, so this is just easy, and we get that 40. And then we go up around and we get max life here, and then we get max life here, and then also just continue on to the next board, which is Flesh Eater, Consuming Corpses, gain 40% increased damage. And so then we'll get this max life over here instead of this corpse attack speed, which is pretty useless. And then we'll go and get Flesh Eater, and they'll go back around and here, and we'll get Eliminator. Now, because this increases our normal nodes, we go and get every intelligence node on this board, no matter what, as it is counting as like 2 intelligence nodes, which is really, really nice. So it ends up being a total of 200 intelligence on this area. Then we also go up here and get maximum life. I kind of went over this pretty fast because I already go over it in my Blood Surge build, on my main Blood Surge build, so nothing really changes. It's really just getting each of these nodes and then getting intelligence on extra stuff. So if any of these look weird, that is why. It's like these skill point choices are really weird because I'm just trying to get intelligence where I can. But I will also have a link which has the Paragon board set up as well. And then for the Mercenaries, we are going Subo, as this will show enemies, and on a speed killing build, that is going to be important so you know where those specific enemies you need are to keep going. And so then we just go down here and we are going for bargaining chips for that increased overpower damage. Then you could also go opening fire, which is just good crit strike damage, as well as getting some movement speed if needed when you deal damage to an elite. It is only 2 seconds though, but it could be worth it. And then I go right here. This is for a little bit survivability. You could also go Variana for getting that extra attack speed if you need to, which probably could be better if you need that extra attack speed, just because we want that damage and clear speed over the survivability. That may not be needed here, but that will just depend on what you do. And then the playstyle is pretty much the same as Blood Surge, where you will just go around and go with enemies and Blood Surge. First, you'll want to hit enemies with Reap before they die, so you'll get that increased damage from Reap, as well as activating Soul Rift before then to gain all that boost. And then if you need to, activate Blight if you need to gain a little bit extra damage. And then Blood Mist is really there if you get in a sticky situation to where you're just stunned, so you can just get out of it really quick. And then Sever is purely for movement. Again, you can do like activate Sever, and then you'll get that, hopefully get the teleport charge. And then once you use that, your Sever might be back, so you can activate Sever again, and then that will activate your teleport ready and continue that cycle, and then just dash in between with normal dash as needed. And then the priorities are pretty much the same with the armor and the intelligence, or with the armor and the resistances here. Because it's easier content, I say this a lot, it may be less important, but still, you may just reach it really high very easily. Really just Cures Embrace, and then getting a lot of attack speed is important, and then these mobility skills are very important to get as well. I'd make sure it has a low cooldown, or else it won't work as well. You may want to go Metamorphosis if you have low cooldown on that, instead of Sever if you don't have good low cooldown on Sever. Eventually, someday, I'll get this to 3.5. But that is it for this video. I will have a link in the description that has like a more website version, either on Maxroll or T4 builds, just one of those, and it will have that version of the speed farming. It may be linked to my regular Blood Surge setup as well, so you may have to go and do that specific version to make sure you're seeing the correct stuff. But if you have any questions, make sure to comment down below, and also if you have any suggestions to make this better, let me know, as I always love improving and learning more stuff with this game. And make sure to like the video if you haven't, and subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 content, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.